Our next guests this morning are Dr. Ellen Mendelson, a breast cancer specialist, and Barbara Johnson, who is a breast cancer patient, and she also volunteers with the American Cancer Society. Good morning and welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
90% or better than 90% rate of cure if it's caught early enough?
If caught early enough, that's true. That really is. There's a very good prognosis for long-term cure and really recovery. And the key is early detection, so that finding the tumors when they're small, when they're localized to a very small area of the breast and haven't spread to other parts of the body or to a very large number of lymph nodes, will increase your chances of recovery quite a bit.
Barbara, do you do any of the teaching? Do you do any one-on-one with other women on how to do that?
I volunteered in the hospital at Reach to Recovery. I see the patient after her mastectomy, but we also train her to self-examine the other breast because maybe they have never even learned how to do it. And we have literature that they can take home with them. We have literature in a film that can be shown in any women's group or high school. There's a volunteer that will come out and show this film to them, which is very good. And I thoroughly promote early examination. That's what I did and found my own. And most women do find their own, it seems. And once you learn, as she said, the examination, you really get to know your breast. And you know when there are some people that have lumps that aren't anything. They're fibrocystic maybe. And but if that's what happened to me. I learned how to do it, and then I found something unusual one day, and it was it.
And you said you're a big advocate of it, of course. This saved your life, did it not?
Right. I feel it did, because I had no lymph node involvement, and I had no chemo, no radiation, so it was very, very, very early in the stage.
Now, this was 6 years ago?
Yes.
Tell me about it. You had a family? Were you working outside the home at that time?
No, I was a housewife
like?
at the time. 3 children, husband, cat, dog, everything. And it was right before the holidays, and I felt the lump, and I said, well, I'll go as soon as the holidays are over. And I did, not even thinking that it could ever happen to me. And went through the x-rays and the exam, and sure enough, I had the biopsy done, and they said it was positive. And so I said, well, let's go on. I did have a second opinion, which I also think is very important for the patient to also feel at ease. That's what made me feel at ease, and for the second opinion. And I said, let's do it. Then I had reconstruction done a year later.
How did that?
Fantastic. I just have had no problems with anything. I've been very fortunate. And the reconstruction, you almost forget you've had cancer. That part of your body that was deformed is now no longer deformed.
We see you in the commercials or in the spots, and you were talking to other women who have been through it or who are about to go through it, and it was a line that I loved that you said that you asked the doctor, was it okay if you took a vacation? Was that what it was? And he
said,
if
I could go celebrate, and he said, sure,
go ahead.
Right.
It made it sound easy, and I'm sure it was not, but you lend a lot of hope to other women through, I think, the way you said that and the way you're speaking now.
Right. Well, I'm a little easygoing anyway, I think. But that was the idea of the commercial, to let women know that it is not the end of their life. You still can go on and run a household and a family. And I've gone out to work since then and done many things that I never thought I would do in the last 6 years.
Welcome back to Foursight. We're talking about breast cancer, the need for self-examination and mammogram for early detection. Barbara, why do you think women don't do it, don't do the self-examination?
They're afraid they'll find something. And that means maybe cancer to them and having the breast removed. And some women just can't relate to that at all. Some of them couldn't maybe accept it. I think that may be the whole thing, is accepting the surgery. And my idea was, thank God it wasn't an arm or a leg. The breast can be replaced. And I could walk down the street and nobody could see a thing. So, but some of them are afraid. I don't know why, and I preach to my friends all the time, and I still have a few who will not do it. They'll say, no, I don't need to. I'm okay.
So it's not so much a squeamishness about doing the examination, are you saying? Or do you think that has something
Well,
to
I
do
think
with
that
it also?
that comes into
Yes,
play for
yeah.
some women. They really don't like to do that and find it difficult for them. Another thing, too, is that some women have very large breasts and have many, many lumps in them. And they are frightened by what they find.
Sure.
And just as you said, you began to become familiar with what was there normally.
Right, right.
And could recognize something new. Some women can't go through the process. It takes a long time before they can recognize what their own normal state is.
Yeah. Barbara, you were doing the examinations, what, every month at that point? So this would mean that a tumor can make itself apparent within just a couple of weeks' time. Is that right? Because if you didn't notice
There's
anything one month and then the next month you did.
I'm sure there's a threshold for perception. It may be growing at a non-palpable stage. It may be in the breast, and it may be able to be picked up by a mammogram. But by the time you recognize it, yes, it has to be a certain size.
I had been examined 6 months before by my doctor.
And everything was fine.
Everything was fine. So in that 6-month period, it appeared.
There are a million things you tell them, I'm sure, but what is the best thing that somebody who has gone through that can know from your experience?
As for relating to the patient, what they asked
Right.
me? Oh, they asked me many different things. I think the main thing, when we walk in as a volunteer and they see us, that is their first reaction is how we look. And when they see us as being okay and looking fine, it just kind of relieves
The
them, I
sense of
believe.
hope to them.
Oh, they ask about how your husband reacted, how your children, were you depressed, what did you do, what else? Many things. We try to. We have literature that we will give them on things.
Speaking of which, if you can call the American Cancer Society, they will give you
Yes,
further
there's a
self-examination.
packet.
We have to
Yes.
run. Thank you both
Yes.
for joining us
Thank
this
you.
morning.